any thoughts on how to navigate that
Sure.
process?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I'd like to just offer kind of a qualification. Your friend is not becoming a woman. That is not happening, and that is metaphysically impossible, right? What your friend is doing is mutilating his body to resemble a woman. That's what he's doing. And he's doing it because he's profoundly unhappy. And that elicits my deep sympathy. And I'm hurt for this person.
Oh yeah.
How unhappy must you be to undergo this kind of radical self-mutilation? And the culture is not our friend here. Well, certain segments of the culture. But what they're offering is what we all want at some level in that personal transformation. The drive, the need to transcend myself and to become what I really am. That's actually in the Catechism. Christian, become what you are, right? Is universal. And we are living in a profoundly dislocated culture, awash in meaninglessness and absurdity, that offers nothing to address our deep existential perennial problems. And the fixes that are offered by the culture are shallow and hurtful. Ideology on the one hand, and this kind of cosmetic self-mutilation on the other, in the hopes of realizing some kind of true self that I have that's distinct from or prior to or disconnected from my body. And so it presupposes a very incoherent anthropology. The idea that I'm not my body, is absurd, right? And if there's one thing that modern science has revealed to us ever more deeply, is that ourselves, our consciousness, our identity, our cognition are intimately interwoven, interpenetrated by an irreducible, impossible to reduce out of my biology, right? And to think that my identity is somehow at war with my biology is to perform a feat of mental gymnastics so convoluted that, Houdini couldn't get out of it, right? So I really am pitying this individual, and I recognize that there's a profound suffering there, and that's what I want to respond to. Okay, now, is the best way to address that with this person to explain to them why they're wrong? Probably not. Probably not. Okay? Depending on the nature of your relationship. Now, there are some resources that maybe you should get a hold of just to get your own mind clear on these things. One of them is a document from the Holy See, from the Congregation for Catholic Education, called Male and Female, He Created Them. All right? Which is a pretty rigorous study of gender theory and how it's manifesting itself in the culture and the way Catholics ought to think about that. Male and female, He created them, by the Holy See, Congregation for Catholic Education. Another one is a book by Abigail Schreier called Irreversible Damage. And it's really more taken up with the question of young women who are mutilating their bodies in the hopes of imitating men, but the conclusions and the analysis would apply either way. It deals with the powerful ideological push to disregard science and evidence and any kind of controls on this idea that we should mutilate ourselves, right? And draws attention to the irreversible damage that people are doing to themselves. And this is not an opinion. There's data behind this. The likelihood that a person goes through sex transition surgery will flourish on the other end of that surgery is very low, right? Most people who have this procedure will tell you they're happy with the procedure, but they're no happier in life. And their rates of suicide and depression and substance abuse are much, much, much higher than the rest of the population post-surgery. So it really is not going to solve the existential problems that are motivating this desire for transformation. So I would respond with deep love, profound acceptance of the person. You don't have to be accepting of this solution that they've proposed. Profound acceptance of the person, patience, a desire to accompany them and show them friendship, not to be judgmental so that you're going to reject them or hate them in any way. Nothing like that. Just love, acceptance, friendship, patience, accompaniment, and, get your own mind right on the philosophy of the business.
Yeah.
And then, if you have an opening, if that person reaches out to you, genuinely wants to know what you think, maybe pass them something like Schreier's book.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resources on the web about sex change regret, some of the dangers that you need to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
My own diocese has kind of an expert on this business, Deacon Patrick Lappert, who has been a guest on EWTN several times, I think. Plastic surgeon who has some professional as well as theological competence to discuss, what's going on with the body and things that people need to look out for.
Dustin, thanks so much for your call. We hope those